Now, this particular project is about some marketing campaigns that were run. So we have the campaign name. Looks like there are four different type of campaigns that were run. 20% off, accessories free, free shipping, organic foods. Like there are like these are just campaign names. They do not really mean anything to us. So based on the campaigns that we have run, we have received some web clicks, conversion rate, cost per click. Maybe if you run a campaign with 1,000 as the input money that you have spent, you might have received 1,000 clicks. So cost per click is $1 over there. Another campaign, we received 1,000 clicks with $2,000. So the cost per click is $2 there. So cost per click is very important. Click-through rate means one 10,000 people have seen it, only 1,000 people has clicked them. Click-through rate is 10%. 10,000 people have seen it, but only 500 people have clicked it. Click-through rate is 5%. We want to have higher click-through rate. So this is the data that we have. We'll also have one more look at that data once we start importing the data. So first we will open either Tableau or Tableau Public. So if you do not have Tableau access, Tableau Public access you must have because that is free for everybody who is having a login ID on Tableau, which you can create. You can use Tableau Public for practice. In the interview, don't say that you have used Tableau Public. You have to say that you have worked on company's license at Tableau. So the second project is Web Analytics or Market Campaign Analysis project. You have Web Analytics data here. And as per the instruction, connect to Web Analytics data, import advertising sheet. There are advertising, customer list, demographics, and then these are the files or the sheets. I will go for advertising and then I will go and see what are all the details. I have the campaign name. I have the channel on which channel that I have run. Sometimes you run the campaign online, sometimes you run it on radio, sometimes you run it on TV, different channels you may run your campaigns. Date on which you have run the campaign, the devices, sub-channel, click-through rate, clicks, conversion rate, cost per click, impressions, row ID, etc., etc. Total cost, total sales that you have seen, all the data is given here. Let's go one by one step. List down the dimensions and measures in the data. What are dimensions? What are measures? Dimensions are non-numeric fields or categorical variable. Channel is a dimension. Campaign name is a dimension. Dimension. Measure means something that you can find the average. You can measure something. Can I measure region east, west, north, south? We cannot. But can I measure what is the number of clicks, average clicks, conversion rate, cost per click, impressions, and all these sales, total cost? These are all the measures. These are all the dimensions that we have. Create a bar chart for campaign name versus impressions. For every campaign, how many impressions have happened? Impression means like how many people have seen it, not necessarily clicked it. Impression means, let's say if you're scrolling through your Facebook or Instagram, you have seen some ad, but you haven't clicked it. So that is like an impression. They found an impression. Or if you are on YouTube, you have seen some ad, you have not clicked on it, but somewhere it is mentioned as ad, or when you're browsing through Google or some website on the left hand side, you have an ad displayed. If you click on it, that is clicking. If you just seen it, that is called impression. So let's go to our data and try to create campaign name by impressions. So 20% off campaign has seen maximum impressions. Organic food has seen some next best impressions. But the chart that we are looking for should be in this manner. So I'll go here, I will select this chart, and this has to be kind of rows have to become columns, column have to become row because horizontal needs to be vertical. So I can do this, swap rows and columns. That's one option. I can also do this, but this is not it is kind of giving within one bar. It is giving everything. So these are the four. And we want four different colors for four campaigns. So I will again take campaign name. I'm hitting control here on my keyboard and then I'm dragging and dropping it on color. The mistake that we do is maybe when you're watching the video, you will drag and drop campaign here again, it will be having an issue. So click control, hold control, and then try to do this here, drag and drop it here. Then this is what maybe campaign, this is also shown impression, number of impressions are shown on label. I can put it on label as well. If you want to make it a little bigger, you can show it this way. Or if you want to show it standard, this looks like this. This is not bad. It's fine. Maybe ideally this is better, even better. These are the four campaigns, marketing campaigns. These are the impressions. Okay. We can change the name of this tab as well. So impressions, we can say impressions by campaign. That is question number one. Probably that was question number three. Are you good with this? Any quick questions, anybody?
But
Am
as
I
soon as we exported the file,
hmm,
we moved to analytics or we just clicked OK. I had a doubt in that.
here?
Yes, this is the data source.
Yes. So
We have exported the sorry imported the file.
hmm.
After that,
After
what did
that,
you?
so let's do it from the beginning just to avoid the confusion. So let's close this and let me go to Tableau Public. I'm trying to open Tableau Public once again. So this is a blank one. I'll click on Microsoft Excel. I will
Yes, sir.
click on the data. Now there are four sheets in this data. You must double click on that data.
Okay,
Then
sir.
all it will appear here. Then you
Yes, sir.
can go to worksheet, this option.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Got it, sir.
Go to worksheet, then this will give that, and then I will say uh, campaign name versus impression.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
And then the campaign name should be color, and the impression should be on the label. This can be fit with. I'm doing all this pretty fast because I have been practicing it from past 10 or 12 years or at least 10 years. Maybe initially you may find it a little confusing or initially you may forget some of the options. But if you keep on doing it, you'll feel that Tableau is a damn easy tool to maneuver, damn easy tool to like the kind of things that take around half an hour, 1 hour in some other tool. Within Tableau, within 2, 3 minutes, you can get that. To be honest with you, the same dashboard that we have created earlier, there is no other visualization tool that can help us to create the dashboard with that much ease. If you have the clarity on what is required, then working on Tableau is very easy. Okay. I want you to really acknowledge the fact that Tableau is one of the easiest tool in the whole training that we are taking at DV. So we are learning Excel, SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, ML. Out of all of them, I would say even Tableau is easier than Excel, to be honest with you, in terms of the complexity. Because Tableau, by default, it was created to create the ad hoc reports at a express pace. Let's go to the next question. Are we good? Shall we go ahead to the next question?
Yes, sir.
Create channel, subchannel versus impressions. Right now I have channel wise impressions, but I want channel, subchannel versus impression. And it has to be the way like this. So it has to be channel. Channel is email, paid sources, paid traffic, search engine, social media. Do you understand? On search engine, like on Google, we can pay some ads. On Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube, you can play some ads. Your paid traffic and then email campaign. So different channels are there. Different sub channels are there. We want to see the impressions and we want to give the impression to the client that paid traffic is the highest one within the social media. Facebook is providing us the highest number of impressions, and then within search engine we thought that Google may give us higher impressions, but actually on Bing search engine we got higher impressions. This is what we want to tell our client. If that is the case, you click on channel, you click on sub channel, and then you want to click on impressions, channel, sub-channel, impressions. And then you go here and then you click on this one, channel, sub-channel, impressions. Again, by channel, we want to color them because every channel has different color. So I will go to channel and then try to hold control key and then put it here by channel. And then I would like to fit it to height. And there is one label also that is given, which is, I think, sum of impressions. So the label also need to be added. This is what. A general practice that I have seen is people tend to arrange all of them within each category, maybe sorted within each category, which is already sorted. Or if you want to do the opposite of it, sorted within each category. This looks slightly better. This is what the expected output, and channel wise, sub channel wise impressions is what we want to show. And color as well as label have been used as extra. You may have to change the sheet name as channel wise impressions. As soon as you do this, it changes, and then you may want to click on it and you may want to make it bold, keep it in the middle, keep it slightly higher, apply. Okay. Channel wise impressions. Any questions on this? Shall I proceed
Uh,
further? Yeah.
Sir, we were taught that whatever you want to keep in rows, just drag it into the rows. But if I only click on the channel or date, will it automatically take to column and rows wherever it should be?
No, there's no guarantee. It changes depending on the chat that you are using. Let us suppose I clicked on something. I clicked on something. Now, right now, it's in columns and rows.
Yes, sir.
But if I select the chat, now it's gone somewhere else. Or maybe if I do this, columns and rows are swapped. So there's no guarantee that whatever you have first initially picked, it will forever stay there. There's no guarantee. Depending on what you're creating, now there are neither rows nor columns, isn't it? If I
Yes.
click this one, neither rows nor columns. If I click this one, some of them are rows, some of them are columns. Depending on the chat that you're using, they automatically jump from here to there.
No,
It,
sir. Because while doing the channel-wise impression, you have just clicked the both the options.
hmm,
So it automatically went to rows. I was having doubt in that.
yeah, tell me. So, what is your doubt? For
No.
example, at the end of the day, this is what you want to create. If
Yes,
you
sir.
find there are three, four ways of creating that, carry on. Okay.
Okay,
There
sir.
is no rule that you must follow exactly these sequence of steps to reach here. Okay.
Okay,
You
sir.
can finally, your responsibility is to tell the story from this graph. And if we find there are two, three ways of reaching there, that is perfectly fine. There is
Okay,
no
sir.
single rule that we have to follow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Makes sense, everyone?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. Create a calculated field. Now, when you say that I work on creating calculated fields, that means formulas in Tableau, automatically the recruiter gets a little excited because anybody can create dashboards, anybody can create charts. Maybe with a little bit of practice, we can make anyone to create charts. But if you say that you are a real Tableau guy, then calculated fields is something that you have to showcase. And it is not really difficult. If you know Excel formulas, then calculated field creation is damn easy. Create a calculated field, name it tax. Calculate tax as 10% of sales. Create a table to show the average tax by campaign name. We need to create a new field. Calculated field means new field. We have to name it as tax. Calculate tax as 10% of the sales. We have sales here, and 10% of the sales is the tax. Let's say sales is $100, tax is
10.
$10. Create a table to show the average tax by campaign name. So, what is the average tax here that we have paid? Average tax here, average tax here, average tax here. So if that is the case, if this is the final output that we are looking for. First, let me create a calculated field. I'll click here, and then there is something called create a calculated field. I'll click on that. And the calculated field should be named as a tax. And it should be 10% of sales. So I will say sales. Now automatically it is suggesting. So this means this is a variable into 0.1 and says the calculation is valid. If I try to do something erroneous here, let us suppose if I say star plus, the calculation contains errors. So automatically it will try to tell you whether if you're doing wrong or right. And then I'll say, okay, tax is created. Now that is as simple as that. Now I'll click on campaign name and then tax, and it has to be a table only. So fit width or fit height. This is the table that we are looking for. And what else are we looking for? It has to be average, not summation of the tax. So I will go to, by default, it is taking a sum of tax. I'll go to measure. Instead of sum, I will choose average. Average is this much. You may want to adjust them. Free shipping, 20% off organic foods or 20% off accessories organic foods. There is a way to even format this table. I will say table format. And then there is a way to increase the font as well. Let's say whatever is the name of the this one, and then the corners and then the rows. All these font can also be increased, decreased, and then you have these columns. Somewhere even cells can also be formatted. I usually do not spend a lot of time, especially when I'm practicing. I do not spend a lot of time on formatting because even if we practice 100 different formats, the new format that the client is looking for on that day, we have to explore it. Maybe there is a way to increase the text also, the average text. If I want to increase the font of that, if I want to give a different color, bold, apply. Okay, this is the text, whether it changed or not. Maybe it probably did not change the size. So you can find ways to format this. There are different format options that are given. So maybe creating this table is important. After that, formatting it, if you spend some time on it, you should be able to format. Some of them are easy to find out. Some of them you may have to search like in one or two iterations. The next question is create a graph showing each channel's total sales and tax. So I want to show email in that sales is 90%, tax is 10%. 90% sales and tax, 90% sales and tax. I want to show sales and tax in each channel. So I will say channel, email, paid traffic, search engine, etc. I want to show sales and tax. So I will say sales. I will also say tax. Now, sales and tax are shown here. Now I will choose probably this graph. Now, that is not helping. Maybe this one. This is coming one after the other. Maybe the measure values instead of rows. If I try to remove this, the measure values, let us see the hint. Use the measure values, draw the visual, select only two measures that use the names on color. So maybe I will try to use these measure values on the color and then put it here. Okay, now it is showing sales and tax. The channel instead of color, I will try to put it here, sales and tax. This is not the final output. We want it to be measure values. The first one is the option. This has to be like this, but it has to be one on top of each other.
Maybe the normal bars
So the normal bar,
and then color gradient.
then we will go for like here measure values are not there. So we need actually this measure values. Like we want to like when we use measure values, we can access sales and tax together. So they have to be kind of always together so that we can use them inside either color or wherever we want to. Okay, let me put it on color and then choose this one. This is not the one. Let us see the hint and try to get that. Use the measure value, draw the visual, select only two measures from that list, sales and tax, and then use the names as the color. So let's do one thing. We will follow channel and the measure names. There you go. So basically in the columns, I have channel, which is email, paid traffic, search engine media. I also have measure names within each channel, sales and tax, sales and tax, sales and tax. I just kept them outside so that you have this tax and sales. But here we want sales and tax, but here it shows tax and sales. So let me put one of them at the top, the other one at the bottom. So you have the tax, you have the sales in each of them. So let us try to redo this from the beginning. So we want something like this. Channel should be picked up, channel, and then we want sales as well as tax. So let's push everything that is required here and then give it this way and then move it this way. Now we are losing out the measure values. So once I lose out the measure values, I'm going to lose out on the overall information I can carry together. So again, we are losing the measure values. I'll try to carefully make sure that I'm not losing out those measure values. What do you mean by measure values? Both of them are clubbed together. So then this is a chart that I have picked. This kind of we are one step closer. We have channel wise sales and tax, sales and tax, sales and tax, but I don't want sales and tax separate. So now sales is at the top, tax is at the bottom. So sales and tax. It took around two iterations, but maybe if we practice it sufficient enough, next time we will be reaching it quickly. Are you with me? One thing that I have very particularly very careful was measure values. Measure values means there are two, three metrics or measures. Measures means numerical values stitched together. When you want to create such kind of graphs within email, these two should appear. Within paid traffic, these two measures should appear. In those cases, you have to make sure that always your measure values are kind of picked or stitched together. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to create these kind of graphs. Eventually, somehow by trying everything, we'll be able to create. But the most important point that we have to note down here is we have to make sure that the measure values should be inside one particular bracket. Got it? Sometimes, like people tend to do it this way. Let me show you another way. You have the channel. I will click on measure values. Once I click on measure values, this is like all the measures that are stitched together by Tableau. All the measures. Now from here, I can remove the ones that I do not want. Clicks, conversion, sum, count, row ID. I don't want all this. Sales, I want. This one I want. All right. If that is the case, you can first create until here, and then you choose this one, and then you choose this one. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Either you can let the Tableau suggest once you create these two measures, or you can also use all the measure values and remove the measures that you do not want from the visual. That's that. Let's go to the next one. Get the order data into Tableau workbook. Do not use Tableau join. So what happens is if you go to data source, if you click on order data, it tries to join sometimes. So directly, if you get the order data, you may have to be a little careful. Sometimes this kind of joining happens automatically, which we do not want. Here, I want the order data separately. I want the advertisement data separately. So you have to like particularly be careful if you want to work on order data without joining advertising. Like if you join maybe right join or left join or some other join will happen. So this is just a separate data set. So you have to be sure whether you want to get the joined data or you want the separate data. So here, get the order data into tab. Do not use table join. We don't want to join. And then if you go to the sheets, here I have advertisement data only. I do not have the order data. Let me do one thing. I will unable to complete the action. I will go here. I will remove order data from here. I have advertisement data only. From here in the data sources, you have the data source. In that, you have a way to add a new data source. So let me say new data source, control plus D. Again, I'm getting it like I'm acting as if I'm getting a new data altogether. Like usually when you are getting the data from one SQL or one Excel, it is like connected data. That is what it is trying to connect. Again, I'm getting this. What is the data that we have to pick? Order data. So I'm picking order data separately. Now there is not even a question of advertisement data or anything. Now if I try to see it from this sheet, you have one database connection which is fetching advertisement data. You have another database connection which is fetching order data. If you click on advertisement data, these are the columns. If you click on order data, these are the columns. You have the customer ID, method, order date, order ID, product category, region, shipping date. All these are the values. This is what particularly this particular question, it is asking you to be little careful when you are getting a new data source. Sometimes you may want to join, sometimes you may not want to join. So this exercise is about not joining. In the orders table, create a new field called ship time. How much time we have taken for shipping. It's the days difference between order date and ship date. Somebody has ordered the product, but we have shipped it after 2 days. So that is ship time. Somebody has ordered the product, we have shipped it after 5 days. So that is like ship time is 5 days. For example, if the order is on 15th December, then the ship date is 20 December, the ship time is 5 days. After creating this field, create a table to show the order ID versus ship time. Then sort the table based on the time descending. So this particular order ID has taken the maximum shipping time. After ordering, we took 8 days to actually ship that product. After ordering, we took 8 days. Like that, like we want to know what is the ship time. And that has to be a calculated field. Ship time is not available. We will create that calculated field called ship time, shipping time. So that is order date. Now order date is less than ship date because after ordering you will ship. So that will be ship date minus order date. Ship date minus order date, and it says there is an error. So order date instead of date, it is given as order data. So order date. The calculation is valid now. I'll say okay. Now I have ship time. It is giving as sum of ship time. Then I will say order ID. I want a table. I want this to be sorted based on this one. This is the final output. It should be ship time. Ship time goes like this. 530, 508, and these are all maybe we can do little other type of analysis also. We can see ship time, what are the different values that ship time is taking, and what is the overall distribution of it. All those type of analysis is also possible. Or what is the ship time by each product category? What is the average ship time by each product category? That is also fine. Like let me say, maybe I'll take product category, product subcategory, and then I want to take instead of sum of ship time, I will try to take average shipping time. Summation doesn't make sense. I'll take go for average. And then I would like to see this. What is the average shipping time in each of the product category? So to make it a little better, what's happening here? Anyway, so these are the columns, these are the rows, these are kind of displayed. So I will take a product category as the colors, and then these are all the product categories. Maybe I will try to show average ship time and the label. Average ship time for this particular, dog accessories is the highest. And where is the least ship time? Dog food, organic, canned food, that is the least. And these are all the product category, product subcategories. Okay. Dog accessories, dog food care, and dog food organic. So this is our data. Our data is about this looks like these are all the products related to pet animals. This is the question number 8. Have you understood that? Like I have created a different graph just to show you what is the use of this, but overall you followed that, right? This one. So the next one is create a new calculated field name fast underscore delivery. If the ship time, like this is a little involved one, so try to focus on this. Create a new calculated field, name it as fast underscore delivery. If the ship time is less than or equal to 2, then fast delivery, else normal delivery. Create a pie chart to show the fast and normal delivery order count. So if the ship time is less than 2 days, less than or equal to 2 days, we call it as fast delivery. Else normal delivery. Create a pie chart. How many of them were fast deliveries from our side? 140 were fast deliveries, 405 were normal deliveries. So for that, you need to create a calculated field. So let me create a calculated field. I would say, what is the name of it? Fast delivery itself is the name of the field, fast delivery indicator. If, if ship time, if the ship time is less than or equal to 2, then, so it goes like this. You have to write then, we have to say the output is
Fast
fast,
delivery.
fast delivery. Else, else, like I don't need to again write the condition. Else, it is normal,
Normal.
normal delivery. And we have to end it with a command called end. So that's a rule in Python, Tableau. So calculation is valid. If shift time is less than or equal to 2, then fast, else normal. Let me take it to slightly the next line. Does it allow me? It does allow me. Maybe if you want to have a look at how this if then else works, let's say if if you want to see how this if then else works, then you will get an option here as well. I would say apply and then say okay. Now I have fast delivery, which is given as dimension, which takes fast and normal. I'll click on it. And then I would like to know how many are fast deliveries, how many are normal deliveries. I'll click on order ID. And I would like to take order ID as the count of order IDs. Count of order IDs, which are fast and normal. Click on pie chart and make sure that entire view is what is given. On this pie chart, I would like to put fast delivery on label, as well as I would like to put count of order ID on label. Fast are 140 and normal are remaining 405. So here we are creating a new calculated field and we are using that field inside this particular chart.
Use two fields here. One is fast delivery and one is the normal ID, order ID.
Yes. So basically to create a pie chart, let's say out of the overall data, so how many times fast is appearing, how many times normal is appearing, we need to know order ID. We need to use that
Okay.
as a count. To count like 140 order IDs have this ID called fast, remaining 405 as normal.
Got it.
Edit the fast delivery calculated field. If ship time is less than or equal to 2, then it is fast delivery. If the ship time is less than or equal to 5, then it is normal delivery. Otherwise, it is late delivery. That means within 5 days, we have to ship it. But if it is beyond 5 days, we are admitting that it is a late delivery. So that means only 140 deliveries, we have made it fast. 20 normal deliveries. 203 deliveries, we have actually delivered late. 5 days is too much. So how do we create that? We can either create a new calculated field or we can edit this original existing calculated field. Instead of saying fast delivery, we can say delivery time. If ship time less than or equal to 2, then fast. Else if, else if ship time less than or equal to 5, you know what that is, then it is
Normal.
normal. Else, now it is else. The third option is it is late. And then finally we have to say, you know what, end. If this, then this. Else if, that means if it is greater than 2 and less than 5, we don't need to write greater than 2 and less than 5 because the moment you enter this else if, automatically this you have missed it. And then late. Once you say okay and try to regenerate the same graph, it anyway got updated. Fast, normal, late. Late deliveries are the highest compared to normal and fast. Now that is a pretty bad scenario to be in. Taking more than 5 days to ship, we have to improve on that. Go back to the advertisement data connection. So right now we are in orders data. Now, if I go back, like I have done advertisement, then I have got the orders. Like people have placed the orders by looking at the advertisement. Go back to advertisement data, create a histogram for sales, show count and percentage of the total histogram label. So what I want to show is sales, just sales, but I want to show it as a histogram. What is a histogram? It will tell you sales is highest, like how much, like people are placing orders. Is it the sales order of 56, or let's say 50 plus dollars? Let's say, let us take sales means the amount of money or the dollars that they have spent, the order value or something. So here, are people really spending orders of $6, $5, $10, or is it they are spending $56? If you want to know what is the distribution of sales, like is it very least sales per order? Is it highest sales per order? That if you want to know, you just simply click on sales and then you choose something called histogram chart, and you want to show the percentages as well. So this one, you want to show it as a percentage count. Maybe one more thing I would like to take here and put it on label. Count also I'm showing. I'll put it on label, and then I would like to show it as percentage, percent of total. So where is there is an option called percentage, quick table calculation, percent of total. So if you see, this is the highest percentage. Like people who are placing orders worth $25, like maybe 24, 25, 26, 25 to $30, they are like overall 395 such orders, and they are contributing to overall 27% of the overall sales. I can also show, apart from the sales count percentage, we can also show this overall, like 395 orders in this range, which is like 25 to 30, and 180 orders in this range, which is 12% of the total, which is 12%, 180 orders. There are 251 orders which are placing very, very less amount. There is no order which is in between this range. And there are some orders that are going beyond $50, which is like almost like 55 to 60. So that is around, number of orders are 55, and that is contributing to 3.77% of the sales. This is known as histogram chart that will divide the whole sales data from least sales, which is $6, to the highest sales, $62, into probably 10 bins, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bins, and then try to tell us in each of this range how many orders have been placed. In the histogram chart, we can also make modifications in terms of what are all the bins and all that. That also is possible. So let me try to choose this and then try to format. That is original formatting. So we'll click on this one. Like since we have kept all this, that chat is unselected. Let me redo that once again. So this we will select. As soon as I select this histogram chart, and then I will try to show it as a label, and then as the, or maybe I'll try to, instead of counting the sales, we can also show order ID as well. Even though this is the expected graph, we will try a slight variation of this. What we will do is we will also take order ID, row ID number, or is there any ID as such? This is all
So this is
sale.
actually advertisement. In
Oh,
order
this
data,
is
we have order ID.
this is advertisements data, and then create a histogram for sales, for sales. In advertisement, is there any ID? I'm just checking for the ID. Let me just remove this. Am I choosing the right sales? Yeah. And then device subchannel. I'm just looking for one ID kind of variable. Maybe I will choose row ID, the default one. And then, no, it is not picking. It is only this one. And then histogram chart is created. And then we will try to create whatever is required. And then I will try to make this as quick table calculation, percent of the total. Once again, this one. So this is the overall histogram chart for sales in each of the sales range. How many orders we have received, or how much of the percentage of the overall total that of the data lies here. That is this chart. Create an area chart to show the total clicks in each quarter, quarter and quarter, divide by each campaign. So this kind of wave chart we want to create. Exactly what is the name of this chart? This is known as area chart continuous. So we want to show quarter and quarter total clicks for each quarter. So is there is a option called clicks. I want to give date, but I want to do it by quarter on quarter. Maybe I'll try to do it this way. This is quarter on quarter, but we do not want it in this manner. It has to be quarter on quarter continuous. Now that need to be an area chart. That's also fine. But this has to be divided by campaign name. So I will take the campaign name, put it on color. So so this is 20% of campaign. These are the clicks. These are the clicks for 20% of the campaign in this quarter. So these are all like campaign by campaign. What are all the values. So without any of the campaign names, this is the original data. What we want to show is like sometimes the whole clicks itself are contributed by one campaign. If we want to highlight that, like within this whole number, how many are contributed by each campaign if you want to show demarcation, which is an alternative to previous one of the bar charts that we have shown. Within that, we have shown the campaigns. Now, instead of showing this, this is an alternative to that. So this probably tells a better story to us than this one, but maybe if we have prepared our client to understand this, then this is also a good one. Like, for example, the campaign that is in yellow color is accessories and fire sale. Now, if you see this quarter, which is 2024 Q1, you can see that yellow color is quite less, which means that that campaign has contributed less, but whereas the blue color, which is 20% off campaign, has contributed more. So we can actually talk in that sense, which the same way the same story can also come from this one as well. So somewhere here, yellow color is very less, and this blue color is quite high comparatively. But anyway, the client has asked us to create this chart. We will create that. Create a chart to show the weekly sales. That is easy. We can show that. Add an average reference line. So this is an average reference line. What is the average weekly sales? That is also fine. Also add 95% reference line. So that means 95% of the sales goes below that. Only 5% of the sales above that. So I want to show a reference line to highlight the fact that, you know what, in this week, it goes beyond 95 percentile. In this week, the sales that happened, that is beyond 95 percentile. 95% of the times, the sales is less than $40 average sales, but we got it. So these are all the values. These are the weeks. If I want to highlight, you know what? These are the weeks. If you want to find any trend, this is the week. This is the week. These are the weeks we have more than 95% of like remaining whole data is, let's say, 95% of the times we sell less than $37. But there are some cases where our sales has gone beyond that 95 percentile value. So if you want to show like this reference lines, average reference line and 95 percentile reference line, how do we do it? Let's try to attempt it. So what are we showing here? Weekly sales. So I'll click on the sales. It has to be weekly. I'll take the date. It has to be weekly. So that is it. We got the weekly sales. And I want to show a reference line. I think in the axis, somewhere in the axis, we have to add reference line. Add reference line. And I want to add the reference line at the average value. Now that is the average sales. And you can also modify that reference line. Edit reference line and kind of a line. What kind of line you want to show? Thick line, since it is average, whatever we want to show is also possible. So this is the average reference line. Average reference line is fine. Some weeks we have more than average, some weeks we have less than average sales. Now I want to show 95% reference line as well. By the way, it is average sales. I think weekly sales here, it looks like weekly average sales. Here we are showing sum of sales. So if we want, we can change it to average sales as well. So these are the actual numbers on an average in week. How much are we selling? On how much is the sum also like overall sales? If you want to show that also you can show. Looks like average and sum. Only the scale is changing. Overall, the pattern remains the same. Now this is one line, but I want to draw a line at 95 percentile. So I would say add reference line, and then I'll go to distribution, and then I will say percentiles, 95 percentile, and I'm also saying fill above 95 percentile with whatever color that I want. Maybe I want maybe black color, spotlight or black color or something. This is the color that I want to fill. Or line is none. This is the line one, and there is a another option for filling, no fill and fill, spotlight or something. Okay. There is a way to even format that. We will try to edit the reference line of 95 percentile as well. In here, we will use distribution and computation automatic label fill above. It is not giving me slightly better colors. Line is none. Okay, I'll just leave this formatting as it is. And at 95 percentile, we have this value and the rest of the values. These are the weeks with higher sales. Maybe a good thing to do, even though it is not shown here, a good thing to do here would be put the average sales on this as well. And then to highlight only that sales, what you can do is you can modify this text. You can format this text as The color of this particular one, if we make it like white color labels, I'm intentionally making them white color so that only those data points where we have higher than 95% of the data that is displayed. Either you can do it for average sales, or you can also do it for the week. If you want to highlight a particular week that is not the sales, so I will just directly take away this one. So this week of June 3rd, week of August 19th, week of 16th June, week of 22nd December, these are the weeks where we have higher sales. Like you have June, August, June, December. Like June seems to be the time, June, July, August. These are the times where we have more than 95% of the times we have higher sales than that. That is a way of highlighting where are those time points where we have seen the highest sales than the other months. That is called reference line. One of the question that will be asked to you is, do you know how to add reference lines? Do you know how to add a percentile line? How to add the average line? Go to orders data connection and join the orders table with customers table based on customer ID. Orders data connection and join orders table to customer table. So I want to go to orders data connection here in the actual data source. The order data need to be connected to customers data. So order has been placed by some customers, so customers list, and you want to join them based on customer ID. So here you have to choose a customer ID here in order data, choose a customer ID here. Then this joining has happened. Now, as usual, go to your new sheet. So that joining has happened. So once you see this here, order data, and then above that, customer list, and both of them are connected. Like once earlier, if you click on advertisement, only one advertisement data you will see. Now you have orders and customers data. Create a bar chart to show the sales by each customer ID. So I have the customer ID from the customer data, and I have the sales from the orders data. That is the reason why we have to join both of them. So this is the sale amount. This is the customer ID. And if I want to arrange that, show it as a bar chart. So customer ID 23 has the highest sales. So I can also show that sale amount on the label. Customer ID 23 followed by this. Now the next one is an interesting question. In the same graph, try to create a parameter. Now parameter creation is kind of ultimate thing. Try to create a parameter for the customer ID. Show the top n customers. Right now, all the customers are shown. You want to give a parameter. What is a parameter? Parameter is something your Tableau user has access, or Tableau user can give it as an input. Maybe somebody want to see top 10 customers. Then he will enter the parameter as top 10. Somebody wants to see his top 20 customers. Or maybe somebody wants to see top 5 customers only. Whether you want to see 5 or 10 or 20, that is a parameter that you have to enter. So you take that parameter from the user, dynamically change this graph. If the user enters, I want 10 customers, top 10, display top 10. If the user says, I want top 15 customers, display 15 customers. If the user says, I want top 20 customers, display 20 customers. For that, you have to create parameter. Anything that is in user's hand, if you want to show that, then you have to take information from the users. So here, one of the question is show only top 10 customers. Here we are showing all the customers. Show filter. If I click on that filter, right now you can show all of them. There is something called top option. This is also useful. So basically what it says is you click on filter, you click on top, you can use by field. I want to show top 10 by sales amount. I want to show top 15 by sales amount. Once you say this one, automatically top 10 are picked up. So without even taking an input from the customer, if you want to show all the while only top 10, you can use that as a filter, where in that filter, how are we adding that filter? Automatically, I will go here and say filter, and then I would say top by field by sales amount. I want to show only 10 customers. But the actual question that we got is not same as this one. The question is, you have to take that input from the user. Maybe user may say 5, then you have to change only, this graph should change dynamically. You have to show 5. User may say 10, you have to change the graph dynamically to show 10. If that is the case, you can duplicate this sheet, and then here I would call that as top n customers. N means n can be 10, 20, 30. Now this one, I will try to go here again, edit filter. Instead of top n, I would say by field, instead of top n, create a new parameter. You can create a parameter. That parameter will be the input. It is not 10. You can take whatever the parameter text, create new parameter. This parameter I'm going to call it as top n. Now that will be entered by the user of this. Minimum value is 1, maximum value is 50. You can show top 1 customer, top 2 customers, top 3 customers, top 4 customers, like that. Step size maybe I can keep 3. That means top 1, top 5, like that. Or maybe step size we will just leave it as 1 only. Step size is 1. Step size means like in the actual value that it is going to show. You can say 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, top 5 or top 6 or top 10 or top 15, like that. Once I say apply, once I say OK, there's a new parameter called top n on this corner which is created here. If I show parameter, now in the same graph, 10 is picked already. If I say 15 or 18, these are the top 18 customers. The user is picking 27, these are the top 27 customers. The user says, I want top 10 customers, these are the top 10, top 20, top 29, top whatever. Sometimes you may want to take the input from the user and then use it inside your dashboard to decide what the dashboard should display. That is called user parameter. You call this parameter as user parameter. Let me show you how it is done one more time. Let me delete this parameter. Yes, it is not deleting because it has some dependency on this, but we have worked it out. So imagine I want to show top n, where n is given by the user. I will say filter. I want to show top, not 10, n. So that n is given by the user. That's why I will say create a new parameter. That parameter is user parameter. So current value 10, by default it will show 10. So I will call that parameter as any name, top n, or I will take that as user input, user input custom, number of customers entered by the user. Minimum he can enter 1, maximum he can enter, let's say 50, top 50 customers. And then I will say OK. Then I'll say apply. Then I'll say OK. Then I'll try to show parameter. Now this is taken by the user, like user selects 30, top 30 are shown. User selects only 2, top 2 are shown. User selects 6, top 6 are shown. Are you with me, everyone? What exactly this parameter doing? When you say parameter in Tableau, it is user parameter, user input parameter. User will give that input. Based on that, we are going to change the way the graph is appearing. All right.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes user may give the input, I want 95 percentile. User may give input, I want average, or user like based on that, we can change this graph also. Take the user input and try to change the way the graph appears. That's what called user input parameter. The next question is create a geo chart to show the overall profit by each state using color codes to show high, low profit conditions. High profit green, low profit red. After creating the graph, add an annotation. Sometimes you may want to add an annotation to display this is the least profit area. You want to write something as an annotation. How do you do that? Let us see. First, create a geo chart to show the overall profit by each state. So I have profit, I have state. I would like to show a geo filled chart. 15 unknown locations as usual in India, they are not there. So instead of that, I will say, instead of India, I would say this is the data from United States. All those 15 unknown locations are known locations right now. Now what we want is the profit is on color. That's all right, but it is a single color. We can change that color coding, edit colors. I want to take gradient color, red, green, diverging. High is green, red is red, low. Apply. Okay. This is red color, this is green color. And we want labels also as sum of profit. Label also shown 958. This is the least profit area. This is the highest profit area. If you want to do an annotation, there is an option called annotate. I have right clicked on graph. There's an option called annotate a particular area or a particular point. I will say it's a particular point that I want to annotate. Then I would like to say this is low profit state. This is what I want to show in that final annotation. Low profit state. And then you have to drag that. So this is the low profit state that I'm talking about. Low profit state. Just to show you how annotation works. Okay. Sometimes you may find these type of annotations on your dashboard because we want people to focus on exactly a particular part in this whole dashboard. In that case, you can use annotation. Create an animated trend chart. We want to get into fancy stuff here. What is an animated trend chart? Usually a trend chart will have this type of data already, but I want an animated trend chart. I want to show that sales has first increased, then dropped, then increased, then dropped, then increased, then dropped, like that. If I want to show an animated trend chart, how do you do that? Is that possible in Tableau? Yes, it is possible. In fact, it looks quite cinematic if we try to create such animated trend charts. Usually these charts are not really useful in dashboard, but when in the time of presentation, when you're presenting it, if you want to really tell a story that it used to be high, later on it dipped, or it was low, later on it increased. If you want to tell the story over a period of time, then these animations actually really have a huge impact. So let me try to show weekly sales or animated trend chart. So I will take the sales, I will track the order date, and then I want to make it weekly, not really yearly. So this is weekly sales. This is how usually it looks like. But I don't want this. I want this to be animated. For every week on week, I want to see the animation. In that case, you can choose week, put it on pages. And then as soon as you do that, let me do Control Z. As soon as you do that, what happens is week order, there is this all getting ready for animation. Now, what I will say is show the trailing marks all, and then you can choose the format of the trailing marks. You can also choose, first of all, here instead of automatic, you choose circle type chart, and then here in the show history, all of the history, what type of marks that you want to show. And then there is a way to format this also. Maybe if you want to show this type of chart this way, that is also fine. So once you do that, once you play this animation, it somewhat shows like the sales increase here, here it gone down or up or something like that. Maybe if we do not like this way, we can say single line, and then this type of, again, once I play, this is showing weekly sales, but in an animated manner. Maybe if it want to tell a story instead of weekly, let me choose monthly. Maybe a better story may come. So instead of taking month order, I will take this one, and then I will try to play this animation. So in this month, or maybe I will try to take month onto label as well. September 2023, this is what happened. October 1118 in October, December 1118, January decrease, February further drop down, March, and then April. Then what happened? Like kind of telling the same story in a slightly intense or interesting manner. Like you see, it is increasing, it is decreasing. These kind of like once we have a clear script written, these kind of animations will make more sense when we are trying to prove a particular point. So that is the last chart. For that animation, we have to put whatever is the time period onto pages. Then it will give us this additional extra power to do the animation. So that is it with that last chart. So here I would say this is a kind of level two of your overall Tableau capability. In this, we have discussed parameters, we have discussed calculated fields, animated charts, top 10, top 5, reference lines, like few more things. So again, it doesn't mean that it is difficult. Only it requires a little bit of practice. Even you can see that sometimes even I have to search what are the options. That is quite common because it is all, if it is coding and all that, you can just quickly code. If it is drag and drop, if you're searching for the options, it's pretty difficult to memorize where is what option. Even though you have done it multiple times, even though you know it, you will not be able to recollect that quickly. So why am I saying that? Because in an interview, even if you do not know or if you could not do the stuff, it is perfectly fine. You can tell that I have done that earlier somehow, but right now I'm not able to recollect it. You can still handle Tableau. So Tableau is one of the low hanging fruit. I want you to show that on your CV.